guys, it's Mrs. Ciroli. How are you? I have a great story today. I hope you guys are doing well. I miss you guys so much. It was nice to have the long weekend. I know I enjoyed being outside. Hopefully you guys did something fun. Anybody go outside? Good, good, good. We did chalk, we did bike rides, we had our egg hunt. The Easter Bunny drove by. We got to see the Easter Bunny, so we had a good time. Bella continues to ride her bike all the time, so I hope you guys are doing a good job and trying new things at home. Today I'm going to read one of my favorite stories. We have read it in school before, but I love it, and I thought it would be a good story to read and post on my webpage. So this is called Those Shoes. It was written by Maribeth Boelts, and the illustrations were done by Noah Jones. Those shoes. You know, I see up here at the top, there's a pair of black high-top shoes, and I looked down in the picture and I noticed that, first of all, I noticed 3 friends over here and he's kind of alone. And that makes me wonder, does it make you think? Yeah, maybe they're not friends, or maybe they're not being nice to him. I mean, I would hate to think about that, but sometimes we read stories where that's happening, and then we talk about what we can do differently, or by the end of the story, they decide how to fix it. But I don't know. I do notice that these 3 boys here all have those sneakers on, and this little boy here doesn't. So I don't know if he's feeling sad because they have sneakers that he doesn't have, or if he's just not friends with them, or maybe they're all on the basketball team and those are the sneakers they wear, and maybe he feels sad about that. There's lots of things that could be going on in this picture. This to me looks like, I mean, it's the title, but it also looks like it might be a sign. It could be a sign on the wall, maybe advertising those shoes, because maybe they're like the coolest shoes to have. We're going to see what happens in our story. Those shoes. I have dreams about those shoes. Black high tops, 2 white stripes. Grandma, I want them. Oh, there's no room for want around here. Just need, Grandma says. And what you need are new boots for winter. Brandon T. comes to school in those shoes. He says he's the fastest runner now. Not me. I was always the fastest before those shoes came along. Nate comes to school in those shoes. Antonio and I count how many times Nate goes to the bathroom. 7 times in one day, just so he can walk up and down the hall real slow. Next, Alan, Jacoby, and Terrence each get a pair. Then one day in the middle of kickball, one of my shoes comes apart. Looks like you could use a new pair, Jeremy, Mr. Alfrey, the guidance counselor, says. He brings out a box of shoes and other stuff he has for kids who need things. He helps me find the only shoes that are my size, Velcro, like the ones my little cousin Marshall wears. They have an animal on them from a cartoon I don't think any kid has ever watched. What do you see happening in that picture? It's a little bit hard to see. Yeah, it looks like a lot of smiles and maybe some laughing. I certainly wouldn't allow that in the library. Let's see what's happening. When I come back to the classroom, Alan Jacoby takes one look at my Mr. Alfrey shoes and laughs. And so do Terrence, Brandon T., and everyone else. The only kid not laughing is Antonio Parker. At home, Grandma says, "How kind of Mr. Alfrey." I nod and turn my back. I'm not going to cry about any dumb shoes, but when I'm writing my spelling words later, every word looks like the word shoes, and my grip is so tight on my pencil, I think I might bust. On Saturday, Grandma says, let's check out those shoes you've been wanting. I got a little bit of extra money set aside. Maybe enough. You never know. At the shoe store, Grandma turns those shoes over so that she could check the price. When she sees it, she sits down heavy. Oh, maybe they wrote the price down wrong, I say. Grandma shakes her head. Then I remember the thrift shops. What if there's a rich kid who outgrew his and got two pairs for Christmas and had to give one of them away? We ride the bus to the first thrift shop. Black cowboy boots, pink slippers, sandals, high heels, every kind of shoe except the ones that I want. We ride the bus to the second thrift shop. Not a pair of shoes in sight. Around the corner is the third thrift shop. I see something in the window. So a thrift shop is a place where people who have already used something are finished with, they will give it to a thrift shop. So then what happens is people who are in need of things can go to a thrift shop and buy things that other people are finished with. Black shoes with 2 white stripes, high tops, perfect shape, $2.50. Those shoes. My heart is pounding hard. I take off my shoes and hitch up my baggy socks. How exciting, Grandma says. What size are they? I shove my foot into the first shoe, curling my toes to get my heel in. I don't know, but I think they fit. Curling his toes. Do you think that sounds like they fit? I don't think so. Grandma kneels on the floor and feels for my toes at the end of the shoes. Oh, Jeremy, she says, I can't spend good money on shoes that don't fit. I pull the other shoe on and try to walk around. They're okay, I say, holding my breath and praying that my toes will fall off right then and there. But my toes don't fall off. I buy them anyway with my own money, and I squeeze them on and limp to the bus stop. He really, really wants to be like the other kids. It's not always so important. At home, a few days later, Grandma puts a new pair of snow boots in my closet and doesn't say a word about my 2 big feet shuffling around in my 2 small shoes. Sometimes shoes stretch, I say. Grandma gives me a hug. I check every day, but those shoes don't stretch. I wear my Mr. Alfrey shoes to school instead. One day during math, I glance at Antonio's shoes. One of them is taped up, and his feet look smaller than mine. After school, I head to the park to think. Antonio is there, the only kid who didn't laugh at my Mr. Alfrey shoes. Ah. He didn't laugh when he came in wearing those blue shoes with the cartoon character on it. And he remembers that. He knows how he felt when everyone else was laughing, and he saw that his friend Antonio was not. Remember that. We shoot baskets. A loose piece of tape on Antonio's shoe smacks the concrete every time he jumps. I think I'm not going to do it. We leap off the swings. I'm not going to do it. We race from one end of the playground to the other. I'm not going to do it, I say. Do what? Antonio says, breathing hard. Grandma calls me for supper and invites Antonio over too. After supper, he spies my shoes. How come you don't wear them? Antonio asks. I shrug. My hands are sweaty. I can feel him wishing that those shoes were his. That night, I'm awake for a long time thinking about Antonio. When morning comes, I try on my shoes one last time. think Antonio, I'm sorry, what do you think he's going to do with the sneakers? And why was he thinking about them with Antonio? Before I can change my mind, the shoes are in my coat. Well, he's going somewhere with them. Where do you think he's taking them? Ah, good guess. Snow is beginning to fall as I run across the street to Antonio's apartment. I put the shoes in front of his door. I push the doorbell and I run away. At school, Antonio is smiling big in his brand new shoes. I feel happy when I look at his face and mad when I look at Mr. Alfrey's shoes. But later, when it's time for recess, something happens. Everywhere there is snow. Leave your shoes in the hall and change into your boots, the teacher announces. Leave your shoes in the hall. It's then I remember what I have in my backpack. New boots. New black boots that no kid has ever worn before. Standing in line to go to recess, Antonio leans forward and says, "Thanks." I smile and give him a nudge. Why is he thanking him? What did he do? Yes, he gave him the sneakers that were too small for him. Let's race. Those Shoes by Maribeth Boelts, illustrated by Noah Jones. This story makes me think of another story that we read about wants and needs. Does anybody remember what story that was? Yes, A Bike Like Sergio's. Because in that story, he really, really wanted a bike. And Sergio told him, well, just get a bike. But he didn't have that kind of money, even though it was his birthday. And then when he found that money, he really wanted a bike. But he knew that his mom had said, we can't get things we want. We only have money for things we need. Keep that in mind, friends, as you spend time doing fun things at home and learning and are asking for things or wishing for things. And remember, you don't have to do what everyone else does. I miss you guys. I love you. I can't wait to see you. Bye-bye.